So, I had fun today. Yay! The girls have nails. Okay, so with that being said, I just came from the nail salon and it just dawned on me because I was in the company of like maybe about four different generations. I mean, there was one older than me, there was one younger than me, there was one about my age, and then there was somebody that was like, I don't know. I don't know. So the conversation started off friendly enough, but I noticed the climate changed, and this is what I gotta tell us all. One, you want to be careful about the details that you share when you're out because you don't know what other people are going through. When people have money problems, they tend to project. Um, when people are being abused, although some people don't know it because they've been abused most of their life, so they begin to normalize it so it doesn't seem like abuse. And they begin to project on you when they've been abused. So somebody has to take this hurt from me. That's basically what projecting is. And you also have some women that have been broken down and beaten and redefined so many times by other women and other men that they begin to triangulate, and it's an unconscious thing, but it's conscious. And you know, somebody has to turn the light on. So like even when you're in like certain social situations like barbershops, beauty salons, nail salons especially, these people are putting you in a relaxed state, and some are asking some very, very personal questions. And even though the person asking the question may or may not benefit from knowing these things from you because, you know, it gets them a tip or something like that, but the person to the left or the right of you could have ulterior motives. And not only that, they could feel some type of way about you, you know, and decide that you're the person who they're going to project all these life miseries on. So you got to really be careful with people, especially when misogyny happens, when a person gets into a relationship, because it can happen to a male and it can happen to a masculine. I mean, a masculine and a feminine, where they can get abused by the opposite sex so much that they basically deem the opposite sex as the enemy instead of actually finding out why they find the opposite sex so, you know, such a competition, such a challenge. And they kind of want to, at some point it turns into a sickness and it turns into a power struggle that basically doesn't exist, because we have to realize that one can't exist without the other. There's a yin and a yang for a reason, even if it's woman on woman or man on man or man and woman. I'm definitely a fan of the man and woman. I've been all over the place and all over the map, and I know where I want to stay. And I like the traditional marriage. But I had to grow through these things, and unfortunately in the last year I had to push through these things because of the things and the projections that were put out on me. So when it comes to misogyny, you have to really be careful with misogyny, because it doesn't look like what everybody thinks it looks like. Everybody thinks that it looks like a man picking on a woman. No, sometimes it's a woman picking on a woman because she wants the affections of a man, or she thinks that she can't get the same things. And it's like, definitely it goes way beyond being male-centered. And you got to be careful with making men feel like they're the center of your world, because they weaponize that and they benefit from that. And other women, they become masculine in a sense, and then they weaponize it, and then they become their own emperor. I said it with the things. Yeah, they become their own emperor, and then they're trying to dominate you, and then it becomes. And I mean, I think this is where all the stud work comes from, because honestly, you don't have to be a stud. You could just be a woman who likes women, or a man. And you don't have to be a twink. You could just be a man who likes men. You don't have to be a DL. You could be a man who likes men. You know, it's like, it's all about living authentic. And we've become so phony that we've become so toxic that we've abused ourselves and everybody else. I feel so light.